What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And welcome to my video guide for the Crystal Awakening batch number 10, which is the final one for the level 70 Crystal Awakening Chaos fight. But now before we do start, like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help my channel guys, and I really do appreciate all the help that you guys give me and all the support that you give me. Now without further ado, let's start this video. Now we'll start this video off with the general tips and guide rather than listing down all the different kinds of abilities for these three different bosses. So the first one here is to still save about 60 to 70% of your abilities for the final wave. Now if you do have abilities that you can refresh, you can definitely go a little bit lower than this, maybe about 50%. The bosses don't actually have a lot of HP, so you shouldn't really have any issues when it comes to ability usage. Now the next one is going to be, of course, your boosted characters. In this one, I would really suggest you just use Lightning, Hope, or Shadow, because they are the ones who has had their realization for this particular Crystal Awakening, so they are the best ones to use. Now if you don't have any of these characters, or if you didn't have any luck, other characters that you may want to consider are Galuf, Kral, Setzer, General Leo, Edge, Sarah, Tifa, Beatrix, Vayne, Zack, Bart, Ash, Noctis, Arnea, Sephiroth, Emperor, Steiner, or even Jet. Now one quick note is when it comes to like debuffs, the bosses do have a way to remove all the debuffs from them, even including the frame debuffs as well. So you may have to reapply them if you are planning to use like someone like Sarah, or even to a certain extent Fran, which I didn't add there. You may have to refresh their debuffs, so that might be a little bit of annoyance for you if you are planning to use like debuffers. Now for healers plus brave battery options, you have Selphie, Rem, Eiko, Ignis, Rosa, Penelo, or even Ishtola. And for the summon, I do highly recommend bringing Ifrit, Ramu, or the brothers for your summon. The only reason why I don't have Shiva here is because a lot of the bosses actually resist Ice Element. And also try to avoid bringing any dark, holy, fire, and again ice elements when it comes to bringing your characters. So for example, bringing Papalymo probably isn't the best choice here, seeing as a lot of the bosses are resistant to the ice element, and some of them will be resistant to the fire element. So yeah, just keep an eye out. And again, dark elements and holy elements, like for example Golbez or even Paladin Cecil, who use those elements, probably not the best choice when it comes to this particular fight. Okay, now let's move on to the general strategies for this particular fight. We'll start off with the friend support, of course, which bringing Arnea or even Setzer is just going to make your life a lot easier. You can definitely bring someone else like Lightning. If you have a friend who has Lightning, you can definitely bring her along. You can bring General Leo as well. I mean, there's a lot of options when it comes to this fight. Next up is Delay, Paralysis, and Freeze are still going to be your best friends, because they are always going to be your best friends, especially Delay, unless the enemy boss can, you know, prevent Delay. Then these three types of strategies are still viable. Now let's start talking about this wave by wave. We'll start off with the wave 1. This is a pretty simple fight. The only thing you really need to look out for on wave 1 is, while it's on flight mode, it can hit you with a brave plus HP attack, and I think that's really the only thing to really watch out for. Other than that, it's a pretty simple fight. It's a one boss fight on wave 1, so shouldn't be an issue at all. Now wave 2 is a little bit tricky depending on how you want to play this. You can take care of Ramza first, and that's what I usually do. If you do get rid of the Ramza mannequin, the boss or the Lamia will try and revive that particular mannequin. So you can delay the Lamia so it doesn't really resurrect the ads, but if you do kill any of the mannequins, it will try and keep resurrecting them. So therefore, pretty much like you can abuse it where basically you keep killing the mannequins, and all it does is basically just keep reviving them, and therefore, you know, in between those turns where you have a little bit of leeway, there's, you know, there's no mannequins, you can attack the Lamia and therefore killing it. This will take a little bit of time. So the other idea here is pretty much using your RNA friend in this particular fight with that AoE damage, and you can actually use your summon here as well, therefore just making it a lot easier for you to save a lot of turns basically. Now as for wave 3, just check the recast bar. Make sure that you have Brave and the recast bar is full so you won't take the full HP damage. Then you just have to heal through it. If you do have shields like Warrior of Light, it's definitely going to help you reduce the amount of incoming HP damage. Okay guys, now let's talk about the possible party compositions that you may want to bring here. The first one is going to be the boosted team with Lightning, Hope, and Shadow, and this is with the RNA support and Ramuh for the summon. Basically, Light is here just to delay and do some heavy lifting when it comes to damage. Hope is here for the buffs and of course the battery as well. Shadow does a lot of damage. If you do plan to 3-3 him, he does insane amount of damage, especially when you do have Interceptor up. It's just a crazy amount of damage because basically Interceptor basically just ignores defense, so it'll do a lot of damage, especially if you coupled it with all his abilities. Okay, so the next team I have for you guys here is basically the same thing as Composition 1, just replacing Shadow with General Leo, or you can replace it with RNA as well. This is with an RNA support and Ramuh for the summon again, so the strategy still remains the same. Basically, Lightning does damage, Hope does battery and buffs. General Leo is here just for extra delays, that's why RNA is also welcome in this particular team. Probably better off with having Arnea here because of the second wave. Again, you can replace Arnea or General Leo with Vayne as well, so either or will work. Now moving on to the third team is going to be Galuf, Beatrix, and Ultimisia with Arnea support and Ramuh for the summon. Now Galuf is here basically for the tanking, and of course the counter damage he does is pretty insane as well. Not as insane as Shadow, but it's pretty good nonetheless. Then you have Beatrix for your defensive buffs, and of course her damage is kind of insane as well. Seeing that she does have the Thunder element as well, which is the weakness for all three bosses. It's definitely gonna help you with the damage output. And you can use her Paladin Force or whatever that ability is called. I keep forgetting what it's called. Basically, if the recast bar is full for the third wave, basically you can use that to prevent HP damage. And of course, Ultimisia is here basically just to save you a couple of turns. Okay guys, so for the final possible party composition is going to be your delay team. There's a lot of interchangeable characters now when it comes to the delay team. You can have Lightning, which is pretty good as well. She does have fast recast speed on her EX, so you will have that. She can re-break if she needs to. You got Vayne, you got Arnea, you got General Leo, you got Y'shtola. Is just a combination of all those characters, whoever you want to bring. You got Arnea for support and Ramuh for the summon, and you should be completely fine with this particular team. Alright guys, so we're finally towards the end of this video, and of course I'll give you guys my final thoughts on this fight. Honestly, this fight was easy peasy lemon squeezy. So again, the main thing here is just delaying basically. If you have a delay team, this fight is definitely a lot easier. If you don't, just have a good tank and get Galuf, then you should be fine as well. A little bit of healing, you should be fine. I mean, there's really nothing else to say. This fight is, yeah, pretty easy, and I would really put it down on one of the easiest fight in terms of chaos difficulty. I know some people might have difficulty with this one, but I just can't really see it. You know, the only thing that's really annoying with these particular fights, when it comes to this particular fight, I should say, is that they can remove the debuffs. So I was planning to bring Fran for this particular fight, but because they can remove those debuffs, I just opted not to because it's pretty annoying to keep reapplying it, getting it up to like 5 stacks, and you know, do it all over again whenever they remove the debuffs. So yeah, that would be my final I guess tip for you guys, is forget about like your debuffers, you know, if you can get away with it anyway. Obviously, if you have Generally or Noctis, you need to reapply those buffs, debuffs I should say, so in order to maximize their abilities. So overall, like I said, easy fight, nothing to really worry about other than the things I already mentioned. Anyway guys, I think I'll end the video right here, so please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help my channel guys, and it really do appreciate all the support that you guys give me. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Munchkins Gaming. Leave down in the comments below which team you used in order to beat this fight. I guess a lot of people will have about the same party composition, but if you have a very interesting one, yeah, leave down in the comments below. And I think that is it for me. This is Munchkins logging off, and I'll see you guys in the next level.